I don't exist. So they're all characters that I played, including Jim Carrey, including Joel Barish, including any of those things. They're all characters. Jim Carrey was a less intentional character because I thought I was just building something that people would like, but it was a character. I played the guy that was free from concern so that people who watched me would be free from concern, you know? And then at a certain point you go like, okay, well, that's great, but you know, it's like the one thing, like people talk about depression all the time. The difference between depression and sadness is just, you know, from happenstance, whatever happened or didn't happen for you, or, you know, grief or whatever it is. And depression is your body saying, fuck you, I don't want to be this character anymore. I don't want to hold up this avatar that you've created in the world. It's too much for me. Right. You know?
Don't get me wrong, you know, Jim Carrey is a great character, and I was lucky to get the part. But I don't think of that as me anymore.
This story is evidence that no matter how difficult or seemingly impossible things may be, if you never stop believing, eventually things will work out. This individual was born on January 17, 1962, in Newmarket, Ontario, Canada. He is the youngest of 4 children, born to jazz performer Percy and his mother, Kay. They had a difficult marriage, with her suffering from depression and paranoia. His childhood wasn't easy either, with periods where the family lived in their car. Nevertheless, they noticed that their youngest child was the most eccentric, often imitating different people, telling jokes, and especially receiving immense support from his father. Interestingly, when he was young, they bought him a pet mouse, until one day he felt that his mother was afraid of it, so he decided to set the mouse free throughout the house. As a result, he was sent to his room and punished. But for him, it was not a problem, as he had a mirror next to his bed where he spent hours making funny faces and practicing his imitations.
Since I was a little kid, I mean, staring in the mirror and being the Grinch. It was so much fun to me to sit in my room and make faces and talk to myself in different voices and things.
Well, I spent most of my time in my room staring at a mirror. I never knew I was supposed to socialize, said Jim Carrey. At just 10 years old, he wrote a letter to the Carol Burnett Show, claiming to be an expert in imitations and wanting to participate. Humor inspired him. His mother suffered from hypochondria, and he often had to cheer her up. He wanted to help his mother in the difficult moments and the heavy depression she constantly fell into. Laughter was the only medicine he knew.
I was 2 people my whole life. I was in the living room entertaining people, being a monkey, you know, doing my thing for the company and trying to relieve my mother, who was suffering. She had rheumatoid arthritis and phlebitis and everything under the sun that was nagging at her, and she was depressed. And I wanted her to be free. And I wanted her to realize that her life was worth something because she gave birth to someone who was worth something.
In elementary school, he quickly became friends with everyone because he was very entertaining and usually the center of attention. Despite this, he wasn't the type of kid who often went out and played in the streets. Quite the opposite. He spent all his free time in front of the TV, watching his favorite actors, Frank Gorshin, Jimmy Stewart, John Wayne, and others. He studied them carefully so he could literally get into their skin and play them. He also often imitated his grandparents, and everyone would burst into laughter. Although his father found a job as an accountant, the family continued to live poorly and difficultly. His imitations became better and better until he learned to imitate the voices and movements of Elvis Presley and Tom Jones perfectly. Then he sent another letter with his resume to Carol Burnett, hoping to be noticed. When he was 12 years old, his father was fired from his job, and things went from bad to worse. Looking for something to do, his father saw an advertisement for stand-up comedy in Toronto. This was the chance for the whole family. They knew about their child's great potential and prepared him for the big show every day. They managed to get him a yellow suit, and his father started helping him with the script. Interestingly, when he got on stage and performed in front of a slightly older audience, it didn't go as expected. They booed him and even managed to knock the boy off the stage. So all the hopes of the family, the little boy being their savior, went down the drain. Desperate from the events, his father managed to negotiate a deal for the whole family. They lived and worked at the Titan Wheels factory, with his father as a guard and the children and their mother cleaning toilets and washing rooms. And then the little boy lost hope for his dreams. He began to see the world as a dark place and often felt sad. Naturally, his success in school worsened, and he even dropped out.
When I was about 14 or 15, my father lost his job, and I actually became homeless for quite some time. Of course, I grew up in Canada, so I thought we had just gone camping.
Then he talked to his father, who told him, "You can fail at what you don't want, so you might as well take a chance on doing what you love." So he decides to return to the comedy club in Toronto. But this time, he firmly declares to himself that he will only play the things he is best at. And that night, he rocked it. He started performing very often, and people started to recognize him. Before long, his family got out of the hole they were in. Everyone started asking who this boy was, who did these amazing imitations. One night, Robin Williams also watched live and was very impressed. Over the next few years, he went from the new kid nobody knew to one of the biggest names in Canadian comedy. Then, he managed to afford to move with his family to an apartment in Toronto. He was noticed by Rodney Dangerfield, who brought him to Las Vegas, and things really changed from there. Despite his popularity as a stand-up comedian, he decided that he wanted to pursue the path of film and television. In 1984, he was cast in the lead role in the sitcom The Duck Factory. However, the results were not good, and the show didn't have a second season. Interestingly, he grew tired of doing just imitations, so he decided to go on stage without any preparation, without a script. Instead of his level dropping, it increased even more. He found new mentors in Clint Eastwood and Sam Kinison as he continued to captivate the audience with laughter night after night, without any preparation and without imitations. During this period, he endured one of the most profound tragedies of his life. His mother's passing in 1991 left him grappling with profound sorrow. Struggling with the weight of grief, he was overcome by depression. However, amidst the darkness, a glimmer of hope emerged. In the months following his mother's death, he encountered his first great love, Melissa. Their bond deepened swiftly, culminating in marriage, and soon they joyously anticipated the arrival of their first child. During this time, he dreamed even more. Driving his old Toyota, he thought about the future and what he wanted to achieve on stage. Then, he wrote himself a check for $10 million for services rendered, dated Thanksgiving Day in 1995.
Yeah, I would visualize having directors interested in me and people that I respected saying, I like your work, or whatever that is. And I would visualize things coming to me that I wanted or whatever.
This was in like 1987, 85?
Yeah.
And
I had nothing at that time. All it really was for me was kind of making me feel better. I would drive home and think, well, I do have these things. They're out there. I just don't have a hold of them yet, but they're out there. I wrote myself a check for $10 million. for acting services rendered, and I gave myself 5 years, or 3 years maybe, and I dated it Thanksgiving 1995, and I put it in my wallet, and I kept it there, and it deteriorated and deteriorated and stuff, and just before Thanksgiving 1995, I found out that I was making $10 million on it.
Things seemed to slowly fall into place. He played a supporting role in Earth Girls Are Easy, and he befriended the Wayans brothers, who were preparing a new show for Fox at the time titled In Living Color. As you can imagine, he participated and became even more popular. He reached a point where he was applauded even before getting on stage. 1994 was his year. A producer had long wanted him for the lead role in the movie Pet Detective, but he didn't feel it, unless, of course, he was allowed to touch up the script a little. Throughout the filming of the movie, his relationship with Melissa started to crumble, partly due to her struggle to cope with the changes he was undergoing. My first marriage failed because we couldn't have a normal, quiet life. It is very difficult to film, to create, to experience all this craziness every day, and then just return home. After emotional overload, it is very difficult for me to calm down, said Jim Carrey. In 1994, he faced another devastating blow as his father lost his battle against cancer and Alzheimer's disease.
At the height of everything, your father died.
Mm-hmm.
Did your father know that you'd made this kind of success?
Yeah.
What does it mean to him?
I don't think he knew the magnitude of it, but he realized, that I had reached my goal.
Carrey didn't let his father down. His lead role in The Mask was something very special for them both.
He saw that I'd done it. The thing that he had hoped to do, and the thing that he had hoped his whole life for me to do.
My dad's passed away, but just before he passed away, he saw me get to my goal.
That little thing in my pocket was realized.
Yeah, that's the actual check I wrote myself 4 years ago.
And what happened was, basically, a few months ago, we did the deal for The Mask for $10 million.
Just before Thanksgiving 1995, I found out that I was going to make $10 million on
payment for doing The Mask 2.
I also understand that you put that check that you'd written to yourself in the casket with your father when he passed. Is that true?
Yeah.
Because it really was his dream, too.
Because it was kind of our dream, together.
At his father's funeral, he buried the $10 million check he had written himself. Ace Ventura, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, 3 movies in 1 year. He just didn't stop. He received his first Golden Globe nomination for Best Actor. The movies grossed over $700 million worldwide, and his check was for $12.5 million. He appeared in Batman Forever, Liar Liar, The Truman Show, Man on the Moon, The Majestic, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, The Grinch, and many more. So, the boy who cleaned toilets and made imitations in his room, when he was punished and wrote himself a $10 million check, received his star on the Walk of Fame, appeared in over 59 films, and won heaps of awards. But as he became more and more famous, earning millions for each movie, something strange happened. He decided to take a break from the fancy, glamorous life. His sudden disappearance left fans wondering why their favorite comedian had vanished from the spotlight. Why did the popular comedian fade from movie screens? What caused Hollywood actors to dislike Jim? Many don't know what happened to him, but some suggest there were attempts to silence him. But by whom? He shares terrifying details about Hollywood. In 2018, the actor known for his mystery finally revealed why he had chosen to step back from the industry that once celebrated him. It became evident that the glitz and glamour of show business had its downsides for Jim, as he openly discussed the less glamorous truths of the film industry.
Is that a gang sign? Have you, like you don't know what it is, right? Yeah.
It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati
and you're a part of it, and it is the all-mocking tongue.
Oh, I like it. It needs a scraping.
It's the symbol of the all-mocking tongue, and I'm sick of it. I want everybody to be in on the joke, man. You know what I mean? For years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile so you don't know what's really going on. You know, and they get out there in the woods in a circle naked and they decide these things and, you know, look at him trying to count it out. It's hilarious, hilarious. And,
hey, Jim
you know,
Carrey.
And I'm sick of,
Yes. I've covered a lot of fashion weeks. This is the first time I've run into Jim Carrey. Wait, tell me, is it true you're wandering the streets? Do you need a date to the party? What's up?
No. I'm doing just fine. I just, you know, there's no meaning to any of this. So I wanted to find the most meaningless thing that I could come to and join. And here I am.
They're celebrating.
I mean, you got to admit, it's completely meaningless.
Well, they say they're celebrating icons inside.
Celebrating icons, boy, that is just the absolute lowest peak.
Is it truly the Illuminati that's behind our favorite actor's retreat from the spotlight? Will he continue to challenge them, or have they managed to deter him from larger productions for good? Will he find a way to keep speaking out, or has he been silenced for good? Only time will tell. Perhaps the enigma surrounding his career shift will persist, or maybe some truths will never surface. We'll have to wait and see what the future holds for our favorite actor and the secrets he may still hold.
Because ultimately, we're not the avatars we create. We're not the pictures on the film stock. We are the light that shines through. All else is just smoke and mirrors, distracting, but not truly compelling. I've often said that I wished people could realize all their dreams and wealth and fame, and so that they could see that it's not where you're going to...
Life doesn't happen to you. It happens for you. We're not the avatars we create, the pictures on the film stock. We are the light that shines through it. All else is just smoke and mirrors, distracting, but not truly compelling. My rule of thumb in life: first, never take yourself too seriously. When I was shooting Ace Ventura, it was the happiest time in my life. At the same time, the hardest. Problems with my wife began. In a way, being a comedian saved me. It saved me to look at life with a sense of humor, to see through the suffering. I really wish people could realize that they'll never find true happiness in their pursuit of material things, wealth, and fame. Everything we get in life rots and falls apart. All that's left of us is what's in our hearts. The impact we have on others is our most valuable currency. We should never be afraid. Fear is present in life, but only you decide how much it will affect you. You can spend your whole life thinking about what might happen and constantly living in the future. But what's important is only what happens here and now. Choose love and never let fear turn you against your playful heart.
You know, when I go to sleep at night, I'm not just a guy going to sleep. I'm two-time Golden Globe winner Jim Carrey going to get some well-needed shut-eye. And when I dream, I don't just dream any old dream. No, sir. I dream about being three-time Golden Globe winning actor Jim Carrey.
Share with us your favorite Jim Carrey movie. We'd love to hear it in the comments, and share this video with your friends to offer them another perspective. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already joined the family. Hit the bell. Take care, love each other, and until next time, we are the untold story of